Have you seen this amazing Rathalos art everywhere, advertising Monster Hunter Stories, and you're curious as to what this spin-off game even is? Same here. But then Capcom slid in my DMs with an offer. And now I get to tell you the good and bad of Monster Hunter Stories. And at the end, I'll give you my opinion on whether you should give this one a try. Thanks to Capcom for this opportunity. What even is Monster Hunter Stories? Well, it's a spin-off of the very popular Monster Hunter IP. Monster Hunter Stories shares the same great themes of a fantasy world with large ecosystems teeming with creatures called monsters, but in stories they're affectionately called monsties. And in this game, instead of hunting monsters to carve for parts, you're befriending them to use in turn-based battles similar to Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Golden Sun, and more. And for those returning to Monster Hunter Stories, this version of the game is remastered from years ago. It's the same great story and gameplay, but the graphics are all redone and the dialogue is almost completely voiced.
This is the day, huh? You finally get to become a rider.
Don't let the turn-based combat throw you for a loop though. It's actually super great and feels very familiar with how you've experienced Monster Hunter in other titles. Aptonoth is a chill monster that charges, Velocidrome is a quick hitter with buffs for itself, and Azeroth is a big chunky takey boy. And unlike other turn-based games, you control your character and most of the abilities of your monster companions, but you have special abilities based on how you predict the opposing monster's attacks. The more you predict correctly, the faster you earn your ultimate attack with your monster. And the more you predict incorrectly, the more damage and even big knockouts you'll receive. It's not just a swing attacks back and forth stat checking game, but a strategic choice with what abilities you pick, which monsters you have in play at what time, and the gear and items to bring along for each hunt that make the game so good. It's really awesome. And that's just the combat part of the game explained simply. There's one part of the game that when it was being revealed to me, well, yes! Oh, this game just got way more insane. It's a massive game changer. And I'll explain it to you in just a second because I want to go over the story and overworld parts of the game quick too. Monster Hunter has a reputation of having poorly written stories in their games. It's not the core of why you purchase a Monster Hunter game. Monster Hunter Stories, the game, isn't the most incredible read of your life, but I will say it's a step up from the main games. The characters are tropey, but in a good way. They're very anime and snappy in their quips, movements, and reactions. But even the moments of tension and sadness, they hit me like a truck. I was surprised to see the big change in mood, and it's done well. And as usual, Capcom just nails the music and stories, just like all their Monster Hunter games. I mean, just listen to this. Those things are all important and beneficial parts of Monster Hunter Stories, but the core of the game is the gameplay. As stated, Monster Hunter Stories is a turn-based combat game, but outside of the strategy in hunts, there's a bunch of great aspects of team building, combat strategy, and gear upgrading as well. There are quests galore in this game, which allow you to collect items, earn crafting recipes, and upgrade your gear. I didn't do a ton of side questing for this review as I ran out of time. There's just so many. But I'll tell you that you won't run out of options. Monster gathering comes in the form of egg hunts and sending monsters you're battling to their lairs to guard their eggs. It's real fun to collect eggs from your favorite monsters, and you can hold a ton of them on your character to bring back to town and hatch all at once. But the best part of the game so far, the creme de la creme, is the rite of channeling. Monsters come in all shapes and sizes with different stats and even certain abilities. And with the rite of channeling, you get to play Monster Frankenstein and merge a monster into another, like their abilities and stats, not their looks. For example, this Lagambi normally runs around with snowballs, but if you merge a Yankutku with it, it now breathes fire as well. Yeah, it's so sick. There's a whole system for unique and powerful monster merging through the rite of channeling that makes me want to do a huge egg gathering expedition to hatch a ton of monsters and blend them all together into the most amazing Yankutku smoothie that I get to battle with. I was sold on Monster Hunter Stories from my first few battles, but when I found out about the rites of channeling, I knew I was going to do all the merging to make the most incredibly powerful Aptonoth to crush others with. And let's not forget that there's online play to battle other players. You get to take your team of Franken monsters up against theirs to see who will come out on top. But it can't all be good, right? Right. Let me tell you a few things that I wish were more polished so that you have a full picture of what you're getting into. Monster Hunter Stories is a port from the 3DS, and because of that, there's some control problems. The camera in particular is super touchy, despite me lowering all of my camera settings. I eventually got used to it, but it stands out right away. There's a few bugs that I've run into, one of which has you sort of stuck in a menu while trying to upgrade your armor. Because this was a 3DS game originally, some of the textures on the overworld specifically are pretty rough. I got a good chuckle running into this graffiti of a plant on a rock. The in-game sounds for menus and confirming actions are kind of childish, which as a kid is fine. But I'm coming from Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, where things are a little more serious, and these sounds just stand out big time. The menus are snappy, which is fine for speed, but it kind of feels empty. And lastly, Monster Hunter Stories isn't really a Monster Hunter game as you'd expect it to be. It's more like Pokemon with a Monster Hunter skin over the top of it. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just different, and you should be sure to set your expectations correctly. So, with all these pros and cons discussed, should you purchase Monster Hunter Stories? Yes, and you should through my shop. Visit nexus.gg/GiddyFox to purchase this game for the same price Steam is selling it for, and a portion of your purchase goes to me at no extra cost to you. You get the Steam key to load it into your Steam account, and purchasing from my Nexus shop is an easy way to support this channel. You can find the link to the shop in the description and the pinned comment of this video. But yeah, it's an easy answer. Monster Hunter Stories is great, and I'm so happy with my time in the game, and I can't wait to put in more. The genre change-up is a great breath of fresh air while staying in the amazing and charming world of Monster Hunter. The cel-shaded graphics are beautiful, the music is great, the core gameplay is refreshing, and the monsters and gear are just as cool, brutal, and iconic as you know them to be. If you're a Monster Hunter fan, you'll enjoy Monster Hunter Stories. It's a great change of pace that you can march through in the 40-ish hour storyline, and also have a rich endgame of monster merging to make epic mashups of your favorite monsters. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks to Capcom for supporting this channel. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.